remember picking up your phone to do one simple thing and somehow ending up somewhere completely different? Maybe you wanted to check the weather, reply to a text, look up a quick piece of information. Just one thing, a simple task, something that could have taken a few seconds, but then something caught your attention. A notification, a headline, a message, a video, and then something else caught your attention, and then something else. And before you knew it, you couldn't even remember why you picked up the phone in the first place. Most of us have experienced that. In fact, it happens so often that we rarely stop to think about it. We laugh about it, shake our heads, put the phone down and move on. But looking back, there's something interesting hidden inside that experience. Because the question isn't just, where did my attention go? The deeper question is, how did it get there? And maybe an even more important question is, how often does that happen without me noticing? Over the years, I've become increasingly curious about attention, because attention is one of the most valuable resources we have. It determines what we notice, what we think about, what we remember, what we spend time considering, and eventually what we believe. Yet most people spend very little time thinking about what is shaping it. We often assume our attention belongs entirely to us, that we're consciously deciding and deserves our focus, that we're fully deciding what enters our awareness. But the more I observe modern life, the more I wonder if attention is being trained quietly, consistently, often without us realizing it. Think about how many things compete for your attention every day. Notifications, messages, headlines, videos, advertisements, opinions, algorithms, and sometimes our own habits. Each one asking for a small piece of our awareness. A few seconds here, a few moments there, and by themselves, those moments seem insignificant, but over time, they accumulate. Because attention is not just something we use. Attention is something we practice, and whatever we practice repeatedly, we become more efficient at. If we repeatedly practice distractions, we become better at distraction. If we repeatedly practice urgency, we become better at urgency. If we repeatedly practice reacting, we become better at reacting. And if we repeatedly practice focus, we become better at focus. Eventually, those patterns begin influencing the way we experience the world, because attention doesn't just determine what enters the mind. It helps determine what stays there. Think about two people living in the same world. One person's attention is consistently drawn towards conflict. The other attention is drawn towards opportunity. One notices problems, the other notices possibilities. Same world, different intention, different experience. Over time, different beliefs, different expectations, different identities. Because whatever repeatedly captures your attention eventually begins shaping your perfections or your perception. And your perceptions influences your behavior. Your behavior influences outcome, and outcomes influence the story we tell ourselves about who we are. That's a powerful chain of influence, and it often begins with something as simple as attention. So before asking, what should I focus on? Maybe a better question is, what is training my focus? What repeatedly captures my awareness? What repeatedly enters my mind? What am I practicing every day without realizing it? Because attention is rarely neutral. It is always being directed towards something. And over time, whatever captures your attention most consistently begins influencing the person we become. Most people don't realize their attention is being trained. But once you can see the influence, you can begin choosing it more intentionally, calmly, clearly, intentionally. And when you become more intentional about your attention, you become more intentional about your future. Thanks for watching.